Hello everybody, it's Jess here with Bless Jess. Thank you so much for watching. I'm a little bit nervous to do this video. I'm going to be talking about something that I don't talk about a lot, like ever, with anyone. And it's something I've struggled with my whole life. And I was hesitant to even bring it up and do a video on it and all that. The reason I am is because I feel like maybe it would help someone else. So I put a little post on the YouTube community, my YouTube community like poll on YouTube, and it'll show up in your subscription feed if you're subscribed. If you're not subscribed, hit subscribe, and when I do stuff like this, you'll be able to take the poll or see the thing I post. But I asked if you guys wanted me to talk about it, and I got a lot of responses saying yes. I think like 95% said yes, and a lot of you said you struggle with it too. And so this is going to be hard, but I want to talk about it, and I want to share my experience with it. And if it's something that you can't relate to or whatever, that's fine. Like, you can totally move on. It's not going to hurt my feelings. But I do want to say, like, the comments down below will be strictly monitored. I want this to be a very friendly video for people to post their experiences, and any negativity will be deleted and blocked and all of that. So just a little heads up there. So what I'm going to be talking about today is super kind of embarrassing. It is very personal, and like I said, it's something I don't talk to anybody about. Like, I barely even talk to my husband about it. So that is binge eating. Just a little backstory here. I was always a pretty thin child. Like, there was a part of my life where I was so thin that my mom was worried that I was like going to be sick from it. And so, like, as a small child, so she took me to the doctor, and I remember having to eat like protein. It was before like really good protein options were out there, and it all stemmed from I just didn't like meat, and I was real picky. And so I just kind of had to like eat protein stuff, and she would give me these fiber crackers and all this stuff. Not fiber, I guess they were protein. I don't know. Anyway, I remember though about when I was middle school aged, I started to gain weight, and I was always really, it wasn't like one of those things, like I was happy and I didn't really notice, and like I felt it. Like, I felt that I was, you know, I think a lot of it for my first memory was I just was kind of curvy. You know, I developed faster, and so I was always, you know, more curvy than my friends. And as I got into high school, like, it just kind of, I had a lot of health problems, and I need to do a whole nother video on that. And so food became something I turned to. It became a coping mechanism, and I was overweight. Like, you know, I remember in high school being like 200 pounds, and I hated it. I always tried to like, I remember just waking up being like, I'm not going to eat anything today. Like, I need to go on a diet. I need to just stop. And instead of like trying to cut back, I would just say, I'm not doing it. I'm not going to eat anything. And by, of course, like lunchtime, I was like, forget it. I'm hungry. I want to eat something. And it became like this period of like restricting. And then after a while, just being like, forget it. And I would binge. Now I wanted to say, when I say binge eating, I'm not talking about like I eat a little bit too much ice cream and I feel kind of overfull. Like, when I say binge eating, for me at least, it's like this thing where I eat and eat and eat to the point of I want to stop. I'm telling myself stop eating, and I physically feel like I can't stop eating. I feel like I have to keep eating, and a lot of times it's eaten very, very quickly. It's eaten, I can binge on anything, like, seriously. It's not like, oh, we'll just keep, you know, foods you don't really care that much about at home, you know, not at home. Like, it's not about the food. It's an emotional thing for me, I think. And so I remember being in high school and getting my car and my driver's license and everything, and being like, oh, great. Like, I can go get whatever I want now. But at the same time, having shame about food and realizing, like, I don't want my mom and dad seeing me eat like all this food. And so I would go and I would like get get something at Walmart and eat it in the car or sneak it in. Like I would sneak food into my room and like hide it. It was just very unhealthy. And it's very embarrassing to talk about, actually. And it was something like I was always good at so many areas of my life. But this was something like I never could get control of. I would do good for a while and then I would have trouble with it. And just turning to the food, I don't know. Like it was like a numbing thing. Like when I ate, I wasn't thinking about any of my problems. It just kind of comforted me. But at the same time, I can't stress enough how out of control I felt on the inside. Like I wanted to stop. I didn't want to do it. And yet I was doing it. When I got to be like a senior in high school, I really wanted to lose weight. Me and my mom did a diet together and I did lose weight. I got down to like 150 pounds. I kept it off for a couple years. I felt really good. I hadn't had trouble binging. And then I went to nursing school and the stress of that, I remember going to clinicals and just the stress and the exhaustion. I would go home and I would stop and get food and I would just sit in my bed. And that's what I like to do. I like to just sit or stand. Like right now, I'll tell you about that in a second. But back then I didn't have responsibilities. I didn't have kids. I mean, my responsibility was basically school. And I would sit in my bed and I would watch TV and I would just eat and eat and eat past full, past comfort. I wasn't even tasting the food. I was just eating it. And it's really embarrassing to say, and it sounds crazy. If you've never struggled with this, it sounds absolutely insane. Like, why can't you stop? Just stop eating. But it's not that easy. It's just not. And so fast forward to from there to now, I've had this channel for 3 years, over 3 years. Lucy was just a baby when I started it. And you guys have seen me do all kinds of diets. So like, seriously, that's embarrassing too. And when you guys, some of the not so nice comments point that out, it really hurts because it's not something I don't know. You know, I've tried Weight Watchers, I've tried counting calories, I've tried intuitive eating, I've tried keto, I've tried this, I've tried that, I've tried this, I've tried that, only eating once a day, you know, the OMAD plan, waiting until like 2 o'clock to eat, like all the different things. And I'll do good for a while on whatever plan I'm on. And then after a while, I'll have trouble with these binge eating episodes. And it's not something I like talking about. And usually when they happen, I will have footage from the day and then I'll binge eat and I'll just delete the footage. I'm like, well, forget it. I'm not showing them any part of this day because it's not inspiring. It's not fun to watch. It's embarrassing. And I would tell no one. Like, I wouldn't tell my husband. I wouldn't tell anyone. I would just be like, you know, I screwed up again. And I would beat myself up and I would say, well, tomorrow I'm going to start over. So this last time when I started keto, it really felt good. And I'm not saying I'm stopping keto. I'm not saying I don't think keto is good for me. I'm just working through my feelings here with you guys. I felt good. I felt like when I cut out the carbs, I cut out a lot of the cravings and a lot of the need to keep turning to food over and over because the carbs spiked my blood sugar and then I would want to eat. And they helped the binges because a lot of times the binges started out because I was craving carbs or I was craving this or craving that, and then it would just escalate. So the keto really did help. However, after a while doing it, I started having trouble binging again right around my birthday and just feeling like out of control. I think outside stressors have a lot to do with it. We've had a lot of stuff going on. You guys, if you watch Vlogmas, oh my gosh, it's been nonstop, like stuff. And you guys know I have a special needs child. All the emotions that go into an everyday thing, I think play into it a lot. I wasn't going to cry on this video. So I just gave myself permission to kind of stop worrying about it over Christmas. And I don't know if that was a good idea or a bad idea, but it's what happened. I didn't want to worry about keto and making all this food and all this over Christmas. So I stopped and I'm like, you know what? I'll just get back on track at the new year. Just get back on track then. I'll just cut it out then. So, you know, I wouldn't say I binged over Christmas, but I definitely ate past full. I didn't have as many like out of control, like binging episodes, but I didn't just eat to full. I definitely turned to food and ate past comfort And I don't know why I do that. It's something that I didn't realize was a thing. Like I thought growing up, I thought I was so weird that I had this problem until I started actually watching YouTube and realized that, hey, other people struggle with this and it's actually a thing. It's actually a eating disorder, binge eating, overeating. It's called like compulsive overeating. And that's why I'm talking about this, because I didn't know it was even a thing other people struggled with. I just thought I was alone in it, which was awful feeling. And I don't even know if I'm making sense. So the new year came and we got back home and everything kind of got back in routine. And I did good. I went kind of back on track on keto, getting into it a day or two. And then I noticed that after a day of eating keto, the next day I'd wake up, I'd be on plan till like 2, 3 o'clock, and then I would binge. Something inside of me would switch and I would binge. And I would be like, well, I just screwed up. Like I would beat myself up. You just screwed up. You just screwed up. And I had all this pressure on me of, well, I'm never going to lose weight. If I screw up, then I'm going to get David off track and he's doing so good and he needs to lose weight too. And so if I go off, he's going to go off. And I just had so much pressure about not being an inspiration to you guys and not being able like to show my kids what it meant to be healthy. Like I had all this pressure on me. And as soon as I would binge eat, as soon as I would turn to food, and I can't stress enough how out of control it feels when you binge eat. I don't know if you guys feel that way, if you struggle with it. I feel completely powerless. Like I'm eating going, why are you eating? Stop eating. And yet I can't stop eating. So, the last 2 days have been that way. I've done good all day. You know, I've eaten when I'm hungry. I've eaten healthy foods. I'm getting my protein. I know a lot of you guys are worried about, are you getting your protein? Are you getting enough fat? Like I've been tracking on Carb Manager and I've been doing all the things that I'm in right on track. And then something happens to where I go off and I feel like a complete failure. Like honestly, I feel so frustrated and I don't know what to do. So normally I have like, this is how you do this. And like, I feel like I'm very good in my life with knowing what to do in times and having the right plan and being successful at that plan. But with this, it's just been very hard. So I'm not saying I'm going off keto. I'm not saying, I don't know what to do actually. I'm coming to you guys just for support. So I've done a lot of research on binge eating, what they say to do about it. Of course, you can go to therapy, you can have counseling. We can't afford that. Like it's not covered in our insurance or anything like that. I'm coming to you and I'm talking about it, which is a great first step because like I said, I don't talk about it. It's like a, deep dark secret that I just try not to even think about. So, I've been researching a lot. I've been watching YouTube videos. I've been praying about it, and that's another like guilty thing. Like I should be able to turn to God with this, and I believe God can help me with this. But in the moment, I don't know. Like I'm not doing that. So anyway, I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos and stuff, and one of the things they say is that restricting and dieting is like the absolute worst thing you can do with binge eating because the restriction is what causes the binge. Excessive dieting throughout your whole life causes you to binge and gain weight, gain even more weight than you have lost. Like dieting, it ends up being like I was watching this one video. I don't know if it's true or whatever, but she was talking about how 95% of diets fail. And the other 5% are left with, obsessing about food. And that's exactly what I do. Like when I go on a diet, and I've talked about this part before, when I go on Weight Watchers or I go on counting calories, I become obsessed with food. Like thinking about it, talking about it, planning it, making videos about it, all these things. And that makes it all worse. So I don't know. Like I feel like keto is a great way to eat. I don't want to quit keto. I feel like I felt so good on it. But at the same time, like I keep trying every day and I keep failing by like 3 or 4 o'clock. know. Like, I don't know what is wrong. We are going through a lot of stress right now, but I don't feel like that's an excuse. I don't know whether to just like white knuckle it and be like, no, do not give in to the binge. You like, be strong, distract yourself, get away from it. I found that when I do that, it's like I don't know. Like, I don't know how to do that because it never works for me. If you don't struggle with this all sounds crazy. I understand. Like, I completely understand that this sounds crazy. I don't know what to do. I don't want to go off track because I don't want to mess David up. He's doing awesome. But keto is very intense. Like, I have to prep. I have to plan. I have to cook. And I don't know if that is just too much for me. I don't want to struggle with forever. And I think that me having this problem, I don't want it to influence my kids. My daughter is old enough so she knows, she notices if I'm eating something, you know, and I want to model a healthy relationship with food for her. It's something I really want to get control of. I really want to tackle. And like I said, I've been doing it since I was a teenager, like hiding food, eating in secret. When I binge here, it's usually standing in front of the pantry, just cramming things in as fast as I can. And I know that's not healthy. And I don't want my kids seeing me do that. And I am just doing this to reach out to you guys. And if you have struggled with this in the past, or if you're struggling with it now, let me know some things that help you. I don't know what to do. I feel so confused, and I've prayed about it. I've talked to David about it. David is very supportive, but he can't relate to this. Like, he, you know, sometimes will eat a candy bar and he'll mess up, but he won't go and I've never eaten this many candy bars just because candy bars aren't my thing, but he won't go have 20 candy bars and be like, you know, oh man, I really messed up, you know, so he doesn't understand the binginess of it. And I know that it's hard to understand it if you have never been there. And it's very frustrating, just like in the fact of, you know, anorexia is a disorder and bulimia is a disorder. I know that this is because it feels like that. It feels like so, I feel so powerless. Like, I can't stop. And I want to get help. Like, I want to figure this out. And if stopping the diet if I stayed this same weight my whole life, which I don't want to, I want to be healthy. I want to feel better. I want to lose weight. But this has to stop first. Like, I have to get control over this because this is just going to make me continue to gain weight. It's not going to help model healthy behaviors to my children. It's not going to help me have a fulfilled life and be an example of Christ to others if I can't get control of this. And I think all of the I deserve a donut topics and all of that are awesome. And I need to probably go back and read some more chapters of that. But this is just something I wanted to talk about because, like I said, I didn't even know it was a thing until I started learning about it. And I just thought it was something I only did. And it was really embarrassing. It still is embarrassing. But yeah, just let me know if you guys have struggled with this, what you did, and what helped. Because I'm really having a hard time. And I'm not sure where to go from here. I'm not sure if I should just keep trying to do keto and see how it goes. I also, reading about it, I thought about maybe journaling some thoughts, learning from the emotions behind it, because I know there's emotions behind it. It's a reaction to things going on in my life. Praying about it more, of course. And I believe that we can have control over this. Like, God gave us food to enjoy and to sustain life and not to cause us problems and to be a struggle. And so anyway, this may seem super dramatic, and it's not something I struggle with every single day, but I have noticed, and I'm sure you watching, you can see a pattern of diet, then I'm just like, forget it. And then a bunch of time maybe of me like being off the diet or changing diets. And I've just noticed a pattern with me, like I'll be good for a while on a diet and then I'll binge for a while and then I'll be good on another diet and then I'll binge for a while. And I just want to stop that process. So if you guys have any tips, like I said, I do think going back to intuitively, no matter what weight loss plan or diet plan I'm doing, which I'm still not sure if that is the right thing. I think that using the intuitive eating mindset of listening to your hunger cues, listening to your fullness, eating at the table with no distractions, because when I binge eat, I don't do that. You know, I've even heard of people like using, there's like an app called You Ate, and you like take a picture of what you ate and then you like journal about it. Basically in the app, they ask you like, how did that make you feel? What are your emotions and all of that different things. And maybe that would help. But then I feel like maybe that would just cause me to focus even more on the food. I'm not sure. Like I'm at this point in my life where I'm willing to say, I'm not sure what to do. And I need help. And if you guys have any suggestions, I don't want anyone bashing a certain diet plan or anything like that. I'm not bashing any of the ones I've ever tried. But I do think the diet mentality of restricting has not helped me. And, you know, I've been trying to lose weight for 3 years. Ever since I started my channel to try to lose weight. And I have lost some and I have gained some and I have lost some and I have gained some. And at the end of the day, I'm not too much smaller than I was when I started. And I don't want it to keep being a problem in my life. Do you understand what I'm saying? I feel like this is like the most confused I've ever been in a video, and I'm sorry. And I hope that this helps anyone. You know, the Bible says I can do all things through Christ, and He is the one that gives us the strength to do it. You can't do it on your own. You are able to do it through Him, and I want this to be done through Him. But I also, I feel like talking about it and opening up about it is the first step, because it's been something that's been very secretive in my life. It's been something that I don't talk to anyone about, and I honestly don't even talk to myself about it. I just pretend it didn't happen and I move on, and oh well, I'll try again tomorrow. And that's just not working anymore. So that's why I wanted to do this video. I hope it helps someone. I know I didn't give you any answers. You guys pray for me and I'll pray for you if you're struggling with this. I know after the first of the year, I kind of struggle with kind of being sad the holidays are over, anxious about the new year. My mom and dad are gone to the world cruise, which they're having a best time, but I'm not talking to her. And so that is kind of a shift in my day. I've been like the last 2 days really anxious about the future. And we just had a video post today about worry, and all of those things are so true, but it's all things I need to keep remembering. And I'm not perfect at. If you look at that video and think, oh, they have it all together, they don't ever worry, that's not true, because I've thrown myself a huge pity party these 2 days about life isn't fair. Why are we the ones that have to struggle? You know, like everybody else has their life together, and we, you know, need this and we need that, and we don't have this. And look at those people, like they have this and they have that and we don't. And that's not a good place to live. And I know all of this stems from all of those emotions. So I know this video is kind of a hot mess, and it's like a bunch of like word vomit, just like throw it out. But it honestly feels so much better to talk about it and to be honest about it. And like I said, if you struggle with this, please leave some tips down below, some things that have helped you. Does a certain eating plan help? Should I just say I'm not going to diet, but then I feel like that's crazy because now I'm going to gain a bunch of weight, or I'm going to just eat all the time. So I don't know. In my mind, I felt the most mental clarity when I was doing intuitive eating, when I was really in tune with my body. The hard part of that is there's some days where I messed up with that. Like I would eat too much, and then I would beat myself up and be like, well, you're not following the plan. So I don't know how easy it is to stick with that all the time? Or do you just say, well, you know, you just start over? I don't know. I don't know the answer to this problem, and I don't like leaving you guys with no answer. I do know God is good. I do know this community is awesome, and we're going to work at this together, and I'm going to be giving you guys updates on this, and I think that having this outlet for me is really, really great. I really want to focus, at least this week, on mindfulness of eating, realizing, being thankful for the food, not just shoveling it in, being thankful, sitting at the table, and listening to the hunger and the fullness. And that's what I'm going to try to work on, at least the next few days. And I'll be updating you guys. You leave me the comments down below. I'm sorry this video is kind of cray-cray, but I love you guys. You're like my family. You're my best friends. And I know this community is so awesome. And there's so many of us that, you know, there's not a whole lot of people in my real life that I probably could talk to this about and feel like you have been there, or they have been there. But you guys, there's so many of us. I know there's people out there that struggle, and you're not alone, and we're going to get through this together and with Jesus, because he is our strength and he doesn't want us to struggle. So I love you guys. If you like this video, if it helped at all, please give it a thumbs up. We are so close to 13,000 subscribers. It's just crazy. You're such a blessing in my life. Like, seriously, a huge blessing. Until next time. What else did I forget to say? Leave me the comments. I already told you to say that like 100 times. Leave me the comments, and I'll talk to you guys all later. Bye.
You had me at a low, 'cause where you go is where I go. I don't need nobody else.